Holy time-lapse, Batman. Alright, so got the painting done on this one. It ended up a little bit thicker than I had really hoped. But ultimately I'm pretty happy with how she turned out. So now comes the unmasking part. So I know my wife asked me once upon a time if this was like my favorite part to kind of see, once you unmask it and see how it all looks. And it's stressful as hell because, as I mentioned before, I'm not totally sold on mask all. It's what I'm still using. But pulling it off at the risk of it, pulling paint, this and that, obviously I can repaint, but I'm hoping whenever I do this, when I pull it off, we get that kind of final. So she is pretty much good to go. I have started on the other one. Ooh, creepy red eyes. So pretty happy this one's turning out so far. So comparatively, kind of see the two together. Basically using the same paint, same colors, so we have consistency across the colors, which is what I will do with the body as well once the body's actually ready. So I realized earlier I'm going to have to do a little bit of tightening of the head. Shouldn't be too big of a deal, but I'm pretty stoked with how she's turning out. So we are rounding the corner on her completion. I'll be working on the weapons soon, and we will be going from there. But we are pretty much done. I'm quite happy with how she turned out. Quite a bit of work coming down to the wire. Today is 2 days before Thanksgiving. And Ethan had recommended that we be done by Thanksgiving so we can ship by the 1st, which is the deadline. So basically, I had mentioned before, I wanted to do something a little extra if I had time, which I actually had time to, and it's almost done as well. But just a quick walkthrough where we're at. We have completed all of Jane's heads. Paint job and everything. I don't know if that's going to focus in or not. But quite happy with how they turned out. The first one got a little bit thick on the paint, but I managed to kind of balance everything out and get it to where we need it. And I was able to fix an issue with all of them that were loose on the body. Now the heads fit tight and they swivel nicely. So made her weapons. I don't even know what you would call this. It's like a double maced morning star thing. But I used just a normal chain necklace that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I actually put it in different positions and super glued the bejesus out of it and let it dry, and in turn we have a weapon that doesn't move but has the action as if it's, in movement. It's crazy stuff. Looking back, when I did a Scorpion figure a couple of years back for the summer swap, I had tried sculpting the chains, and although they worked, they looked kind of shitty. So in hindsight, if I would have done something like this, it would turn out a lot better. But I will know this technique for the future. So, anywho, then I got her crazy Billy Club hammer thingy. You guys tell I don't read comics. Anyway, was pretty happy with how it turned out. I actually made a mold of it because I was going to try to cast a clear yellow version of it to kind of give it that kind of lightning-like feel. Didn't turn out the best. The mold itself was kind of crappy, and then didn't turn out the way I'd hoped. This part was actually good, but I lost a little bit of the handle, and it just, for whatever reason, the resin just wasn't setting up how I needed it to. So anyway, fuck it. I thought the rest of it turned out pretty good. So currently working now on just finishing up the lightning for her arm. So you'll be able to remove the hand. And as you see, this will wrap around. So basically what I'm going to do is just kind of strategically glue these in to where they look cool so they can be removed off and on with the hand. And then obviously you can put the weapons in with them as well with the lightning to kind of give it that Valhalla effect. Jane Foster, Valkyrie, with Valhalla effects. Selling point right there. If you were on the fence about buying something like this, the Valhalla lightning is your tipping point. That's what gets you to buy it. All right. So, can you tell I'm excited? I'm very excited with how this turned out. I'm actually a little bummed because it's so much fun making it. Who'd have thought I'd have fun making a character that was, fully clothed? But, moving on to the wings, I did decide to... son of a bitch! My tweezers. This is what happens when you use magnets for stuff. I did put a black wash over the wings because once I actually put them on her, with all the detail I painted and everything, they actually look very monochromatic and quite bad. So having this on there, that wash on there, I thought turned out really great. And, oh, shite. Got some green stuff on there. All right, but anyway, I'll put her all together and show you how she all looks for the final figure review. So you don't get to see that now. Gotta wait for the next video. Anyway, moving on. So I had seen pictures of Jane fighting what I believe to be Bullseye. There was this horse in there, and I'm like thinking, okay, that horse is pretty badass, Could I pull it off? Could I make that in time? Well, I was stressing. I'm like, okay, yeah. I think I can do it. But then, back and forth into the videos, felt like I was running out of time. But I managed to pull it off. I had actually originally gotten Grinman's List, my very first summer swap. And I was going to do Thranduil for him with actually Thranduil's elk. So what I did is I actually bought one of the horses from the Lord of the Rings figures so I could, cut the head off and turn it into his elk. Unfortunately, Grinman had to back out that year of the summer swap. So I had to switch gears, and that's how I ended up making Shinigami's Scorpion figure. But I had this horse left over. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with this horse? Ta-da! This is what I did with it. So I basically gave it a new paint job. I didn't have really time to, you know, kind of fill in some of the joints and everything, but, you know, he still has his awesome prancing action and everything. Resculpted a bit on here. As you can see, you know, we're going to be painting the rest of it gold and painting the eyes and everything. Just have the hooves to paint and whatnot. So should go together pretty quickly. And if you were wondering why, oh why, he has a hole in his arm, or upper arm, it's because actually I have attachable wings. So what I'm probably going to have to tell my recipient to do is actually glue these in, because shipping him is going to be a bitch, especially if I've got to ship him to another country. It's going to cost a lot of dinero. So what I'll probably do is leave those loose so I can keep the box as compact as possible. But just like Jane's wings, they have a magnet in them, and then I've airbrushed them as well. So basically this part will attach into the horse, and then the wing will go on and move better. Actually, doing these a second time around, I actually figured out how to get the magnetic part of it better than before. Actually sunk the magnets in a little bit. And what that is, they're powerful enough to where they're not touching, but they're still trying to basically connect to each other. And what that's doing is it's forcing the plastic pieces together, which causes it in turn to behave and mostly stay in place. It was going to stay in place as it moved a little bit as I moved it. It will not break. It will not break. It broke. All right. So with that, I'm going to be doing a little bit of painting of the horse. I didn't know his name, so I decided to nickname him Bame, B-A-M-E. That stands for Badass Mr. Ed. So, you know, if you put peanut butter in a horse's mouth, it looks like he's talking. But anyway, going to paint him, finish up Jane's Lightning, and we will see you for the final figure review. Thanks for sticking with me all this time. Hoping to do many more of these videos.